from an obese kid on the brink of ending his life.
Like, your life matters.
To a warrior rising from countless defeats.
Position. MMA is the first sport that I've ever really participated in.
Khalil Rountree Jr. has been through the fire, but he wouldn't have it any other way because adversity breeds champions. Rountree started his professional MMA journey in 2011, taking out 4 opponents in less than 2 years, and 2 of them by brutal knockouts. The first victim of Khalil's knockout power was Blake Troop.
But before you know, his striking is always spot on. And so too here, big left hook connects. Trips out.
And the second one was Justin Polandy, whose knockout was a lot more brutal.
Ab out of orthodox stance for Khalil Rountree.
Big kibosh! Good night, freaking Irish!
With just 4 wins under his belt, Rountree entered the Ultimate Fighter Season 23, where he suffered an immediate setback, losing to Corey Hendricks by submission after an absolute barnbuster. Dana White was still pretty impressed.
It was a very fun fight to watch.
Rountree's loss seemed like the end of his UFC dreams, but fate had other plans when Hendricks suffered a neck injury and gave Rountree an unexpected second shot in the semi-finals. Rountree made the most of his opportunity by scoring a sensational TKO against Josh Stanbury. Khalil's opponent was full of praise for him as the Warhorse marched onto the finals.
What are your thoughts on that? You know what? Khalil's a freak athlete. You know what I mean? This guy, he's trained with some of the best in the world. I know he calls Anderson like his brother. You know, he's been in there with Anderson Silva and them guys, and just training with him on Ultimate Fighter. You know, he's tough to take down. I mean, honestly, if I felt like I got the takedown, I know that he kind of lacks there, but I mean, he can get up. You know, and I feel like athletic-wise, and he's got the power and the striking ability to change a fight with just one shot.
Unfortunately, Khalil couldn't land his signature knockout in the final against Andrew Sanchez, who used his wrestling to neutralize Rountree's striking and grind out a decision victory to earn the cash prize. Both men got the UFC contract, however, with Khalil making his promotional debut a few months later against Tyson Pedro. Khalil drew first blood by dropping the Aussie, but Pedro made a huge comeback by exploiting the holes in the American's grappling game and choking him out in the first round. After the fight, Pedro explained how he wanted to stand and bang with Khalil, but it was obviously a bad idea.
I actually wanted to stand with him, but when I blocked with my nose, it showed that it wasn't very good idea. But I honestly think I watched about 30 seconds of footage on him. My coaches told me what he was good and what he was bad at, and we just went from there.
Despite the setbacks, Rountree kept grinding, patching up the weaknesses in his game. He bounced back with a thunderous knockout of Daniel Jolly, and then followed it up with the biggest win of his career at that point, delivering another knockout against hometown hero Paul Craig in Glasgow, Scotland.
I trained, 12 weeks for this fight with beating him in mind. So, you know, that's my goal, that's my target, right? It's like darts. I got to make sure that, you know, I'm focused on the bullseye and not all the crap on the outsides.
A no contest later, Rountree's star shot to heights of fame when he faced multiple-time kickboxing world champion Gökhan Saki in Turkish Tyson's second UFC outing. The American was nervous heading into the fight.
Pretty nervous. Heart's beating pretty fast right now. Got a bunch of people in front of me with cameras, so yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of feelings. Yeah, definitely a lot.
Saki, on the other hand, was cocky as always.
He feel the power, and then he will panic, and he will not know anymore what he's gonna do, you know, so.
When the cage door closed, Rountree shocked the world by knocking out the rowdy kickboxer in less than 2 minutes. Rountree was more than happy to silence the critics who had been claiming he'd be the one getting knocked out.
As a person who I feel like I come in here and I do my best to put on fights for the fans, just to get, like, you know what I mean, just to get a lot of MMA fans and be like, oh, this guy's gonna knock you out, or you know what I mean, like that. To me, I was just like, man, then what do I do it for if it's not for the fans, you know? So it turned around, and I do it for myself, and definitely happy to have it done in such fashion.
That victory was a major confidence booster for Rountree, and he was eager to ride the momentum. But then came the darkest chapter of his career, as he lost 3 of his next 4 fights. His first defeat came at the hands of Johnny Walker, who demolished Rountree with vicious elbows in the clinch. That loss sent him packing to Tiger Muay Thai in Thailand to sharpen his clinch game under the tutelage of experienced Muay Thai fighters.
One of the guys I was learning to clinch from, he was like a he's got probably 300 fights.
Training at Tiger Muay Thai did help Rountree improve, allowing him to bounce back with a dominant win over Eric Anders.
But moving forward, I think this year I'll just I'll set my roots at Tiger Muay Thai, work with the Hickman brothers there, and continue to just evolve and grow as like what you guys saw tonight, and then on top of just like getting the cardio up, getting the grappling up, getting just everything up, so that next time it'll be even better.
However, it wasn't the end of his problems as he faced an immediate setback against Ion Cutelaba. In their 2019 bout, Cutelaba finished Rountree in half a round, taking him down and smothering him, before unleashing elbows from top position to finish the job. Rountree's fifth loss came at the hands of Markin Prneo immediately after the Cutelaba fight. In the first round, Prneo started aggressively with high kicks, while Rountree found success with straight counters and body kicks. Both men exchanged big shots in a competitive start. The second round saw Rountree land a huge check hook that dropped Prneo, but Prneo survived and was more active as the round progressed. In the third, Rountree slowed down, and though he landed a solid uppercut, Prneo's volume and straight rights controlled the frame. Ultimately, Prneo's relentless activity gave him the edge in a closely contested bout. That was in January 2021. Khalil Rountree is a whole new animal now, riding a fierce 5-fight winning streak, most recently stopping former title challenger Anthony Smith by TKO in the third round. And he did that all while battling demons from his past that still haunt him.
I just have one question for you, man. For the next Khalil that's maybe sitting on his couch right now, a little bit overweight, what's your message to him?
It might sound a bit cliche, or we've heard this before, but like, your life matters.
At one point in his life, Rountree was an overweight kid who was so done with his bad habits that he wanted to end it all.
Like, I started getting my heaviest. We were eating fast food every single day, 3 times a day, never drank water, soda only, smoking like a pack and a half of cigarettes a day, and just on the road traveling. And then by 19, I got up to 305 pounds. 19 years old. And I remember one night laying down to go to bed, and I just felt my heart pumping ridiculously. And I was just like, no way. This is like, I think I'm gonna die.
Luckily, martial arts swooped in and offered him not just a path but a lifeline to redefine his future.
Around that same week is when I discovered MMA with my brother, just like watching Ultimate Fighter on TV. And so I went on my last tour, and I told the guys like, hey, I'm gonna go train MMA. They're like, oh, you're gonna be a fighter? Like, you think, you know? And I was just like...
What began as a way to dodge an early doom has transformed into a chance for Khalil to soar to heights he never dreamed of when he first set foot in the gym. At UFC 307, Rountree is set to confront his toughest challenge, yet in the form of Alex Pereira for the UFC light heavyweight title. With the odds heavily stacked against him, Rountree remains confident, ready to pull off what could be one of the biggest upsets in UFC history.
This is what I've been working for. You know, when I started MMA, everything, when my life changed, it all happened kind of like by accident. But I stayed strong, I stayed dedicated, and I've always had a belief that, you know, this was possible. So now I'm finally here, and I'm like living in this reality that was a dream. So what it means to me is everything. It's that time that I've always seen in my mind, you know, like now it's here. And so I feel great, man. Like, I'm ready for this.
Rountree was absolutely ready for the battle as he pushed Pereira to his limit in their battle that lasted 4 rounds, but the Brazilian ultimately managed to win by TKO. Although Rountree lost, he enjoyed every bit of his battle with Pereira.
Really tested like to the very end, and yeah, I went as far as I possibly could. And in my mind, I enjoyed the whole thing. I enjoyed it all the way through.
Rountree's fight against Pereira was a great learning curve, and the lessons he learned came in handy against the cocky Jamal Hill at UFC Baku. Heading into the fight, Khalil was confident that he had learned enough lessons from Pereira to not bleed against Jamal.
I will not have any blood on my face in this fight. I cannot say the same about my opponent.
Hill was also looking to have fun in the cage.
Because I'm gonna have fun with this one. gonna have a lot of fun with this one.
On fight night, Khalil Rountree dominated Jamal Hill over 5 rounds with relentless calf kicks, body shots, and power punches. Hill's mobility was severely compromised by Rountree's low kicks, leading to multiple knockdowns. Though Hill showed supreme toughness, Rountree outstruck him and controlled the fight for 5 rounds to win by decision and put himself in a strong position to fight for the belt again.
Where does this victory put me? Wherever the UFC puts me. I say it over and over again, what I want. I think it's clear what I want and what I'm aiming at. But it is up to the UFC.
Khalil's win over Jamal Hill has surely put him in a strong position to fight for the belt again, just like a former UFC champion who recently took out a rising prospect to jump back into title contention. If you're interested to know who, have a look at the times Kamaru Usman lost in MMA.